Good to see your lovely smiling faces in person and online. Thanks for joining. So today, when we get started, I wanted to start off in a Virasana or hero pose. So if you have a block, you might need it. In Virasana, we want our knees far enough apart so that our heels can get to the outside of our hips and our sit bones are connected down to something. So this can be a little bit deep and intense, especially early on in practice. If you cannot get your bottom in between your heels, this is where you sit up on a block, or you can always sit back on your heels or come into just a simple Sukhasana or a Baddha Konasana. But we just want to sit somewhere where we can get a little bit of a natural hip opening while we chat for a moment. So wherever you are, sink into your seat, your comfortable hip opener here, and just make sure you're sitting up nice and tall, breathing up all the way to the spine, all the way to the tippy top of the head, and pulling the shoulders back. So today, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how your attitude affects your yoga practice. This came about after last week. I did a reading from Yoga Chicago about, watching your thoughts and, your negative thoughts. And I had a day of just, it was just one after another, like probably within 10 minutes after class was over. And I was just spiraling. And I thought, oh my goodness gracious, here I am, like reading this beautiful reading and advising everyone on how to not think this way. And I just was so negative that day. And it does affect things. And I thought, gosh, do I walk the walk? And of course, everyone's going to have good days and bad days. But it was a really big reminder of myself of you really do have to pay attention to things like that. It really can get out of your control if you let it. So I started thinking about how that not just affects your day, but how it affects your practice. Because we all have poses that we dislike. And if we know we're working on them, we get that feeling and grumble. And then we spend the whole class being tense and I don't want to do this. And we get all closed off. So I want to talk about all of that and how it comes together. So attitude is everything is one of those overused sayings that we've all had jammed in our conscious. But how does it become everything? Where does it start and where does it take over? We wake up every morning with an attitude, good or bad. And from there we go about our day. It controls how we communicate with others, ourselves, and how we approach our yoga practice. Attitude can make or break you. It's the one thing illuminating or clouding your path. Baron Baptiste, the founder of Baptiste Institute, wrote in his book, Perfectly Imperfect, the two ways that we can show up on our yoga mat in life. We either show up as a yes or as a no. This concept may seem black and white. You may say, what about all the other emotions you can feel? It's not that straightforward, but it is. The attitude of yes and no carry two very different energies, and within the energies is where we find growth or resistance. Yes gives us room for opportunity and for possibility. On the other hand, no tends to shut everything out, leaving us complacent in our comfort zone. When we carry the energy of yes, we immediately are opening ourselves up for expansion and manifestation begins. This attitude is the first tool you need to create your own reality. Showing up to your mat as a yes drives your confidence, your focus, and your willingness to learn and explore your practice. Maybe with this attitude, you're finally able to nail that tripod headstand or drop into your meditation with ease. The starting point of all creation, the starting point of change that you wish to manifest is picturing the desired outcome in your mind. The only way to see that picture is to begin with the attitude of yes. If we in turn carry the negative energy of no, we approach our mat with stubbornness and resistance. This could be a day you felt tired and immediately began making excuses for yourself. Maybe you didn't even make it to your mat, or you made it but have a bad attitude. Each pose feels out of whack and your focus is all over the place. This energy takes away from the practice you've grown to love and stops growth in its tracks. Our thoughts become things, so you can see how influential it is. For us to show up as a yes rather than a no if you want to continue down a path of achievement. Asana is only one of the limbs of yoga, and our attitude extends much further than the four corners of a mat. For many of us, the practice of yoga began in a studio and has transformed into how we approach our lives. By taking the same energy of willingness, our frequency vibrates with enthusiasm that we can pass on to all other areas of our lives, as well as the people surrounding us. In this age of evolution, we have the ability to shape our world around us, and all that begins with our approach. While the goal may seem to be positive attitude for every aspect of your life, know that that is not natural, and you should always strive to follow what feels best for you. It's natural to have bad days and to have a bad attitude because it keeps us balanced and human. It's natural for some things to never feel good for you. And that's just the universe communicating that it's not in your journey. All we can do is notice what we want and where we want to go and show up ready to get there. Show up with energy of a yes and create your reality. The rest will follow. So with that, take a moment here to set an intention for your practice today if you haven't already. And just start to pay attention to how you approach yourself and your practice today and what you bring onto your mat. Gently flutter your eyes open. Take a big deep breath in and inhale. Reach your arms up all the way overhead. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Pull the shoulders down onto your back. Take a breath in here and then exhale. Take your right hand behind you, left hand to your knee for a gentle twist. Inhale, reach it all the way back up. And exhale, let's take it to the other side. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale your hands down to your heart center. One more little stretch over here if you need to shift positions, maybe out of Virasana and Sukhasana, whatever works for you. I want you to feel comfortable. When you're ready, inhale, open up your arms, press the back of your hands towards the wall behind you. Maybe you take some little motions here, maybe pumping back and forth a little bit, just to start to open up the shoulders a little bit. And then come to neutral, just pressing back. And then on your next exhale, bear hug it in. Inhale, press it back. Exhale, opposite arm on top, bear hugging it in. Inhale it out. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, press. And exhale, hug. All right, let's come on out of whatever seat you're in and take a moment here to find yourself in a nice neutral tabletop position. Fingers spread wide. Take a look, make sure your shoulders are in line right over your wrists. Hips in line over the knees. And then yesterday, Ashley, one of our teacher trainees, assisted me. And I loved this. She said to look back and see if your feet are also, your toes are in line with your knees. We all tend to take our toes out a little too far. So it's actually a big adjustment that I'd never noticed before and that I totally do the wrong way. All right, press down through those palms, take a breath in here, and we'll do a couple rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, take your sit bones back and apart, curve through the spine, all the way up to the neck as you look up. And then exhale, press the mat away, tucking the tailbone under, curving the back up towards the sky. Inhale, take it the other way, inhaling through cow, and exhaling up back through that cat. Again, inhale, dropping the belly button down to the earth, rolling the shoulders onto your back. And then exhale, pulling the belly button up into your spine as you look at your thighs. And then come on back to a neutral tabletop position. All right, let's reach your right hand forward. Spread your fingers wide. Pull everything in towards the midline and then reach your left foot back. Turn your left toes to face the floor and press your heel back as you reach through your fingertips. Couple breaths here. Keep drawing your belly button up. Leave your right arm extended. Drop your left toes right where they are, and then reach your right arm up. Get a nice big twist here. And then on your exhale, we're going to thread that right arm through, taking it underneath, bringing your cheek all the way down to the mat, pressing the top of your hand all the way down into the earth. Keep pressing through the top of the left hand, feeling this nice big stretch. And if you want to deepen it, or if you want to play with your balance, keep pressing through the top of that left hand and maybe raise your left toes up off of the earth. Keep the foot flexed, keep the energy pushing back through the heel. And again, if you really want to play with balance here, you can maybe come onto your left fingertips, maybe reach your left arm up to the sky. Find whatever variation of this works for you and your body. If you've extended your left hand, bring the fingertips back down, drop the left toes down if they've come up, press the earth away and reach back up into that twist. And bring that hand down, come back to your neutral tabletop position. Take a look, get your foundation all set. When you're ready, draw everything into the midline. Inhale your left hand forward and your right foot back. Nice straight line of energy coming from the fingertips all the way to the heel. And then drop the right toes down and reach your left hand up. On your next exhale, thread it through, taking the top of the hand all the way down to the earth, taking the cheek or the temple down to the mat. Again, for stability here, you want to really keep on pulling the abs up and in, pressing to the top of that left hand, and then extend your right toes up off of the earth. Maybe come onto the right fingertips. Maybe reach the right arm up towards the sky. If you're extended, bring those fingertips back down, bring those toes back down, press the earth away and reach it back up into your twist. And bring your hand down. And let's take both knees back and come up into our first downward facing dog. So hips up towards the sky, pressing through the knuckles, dragging the finger pads towards the top of the mat, taking all that pressure off of your wrist. Walk the dog out a little bit, bending through one knee, straightening the other. Come into a neutral dog and shift your weight forward into a plank. I've been doing this every week. I really like this. Wiggle your toes back if you need to. Your hands and your feet should be the same in downward facing dog as they are in plank. So once you have this, now then go ahead and press those hips back up, finding your downward facing dog. Sometimes it's a little bit wider than we think it should be. All right, shift back forward into that plank pose, please. Pull the belly button up and in, broaden through the collarbone and press the heels back. And then bend your elbows, Chaturanga Dandasana, maybe pausing halfway and then coming all the way down to your stomach. We're gonna do a quick shoulder stretch here. Leave your left hand right where it is. Take your right arm out long onto the earth beside you. Use your left hand to press yourself over, rolling onto that right shoulder and onto your right hip. You can take this as deep as you need to. If you want a little bit more, you can take that left foot up and then to the earth behind you for stability, deepening the shoulder stretch. And then roll it back to your stomach. Pull your right hand back into the cobra position. This time, let your left arm go long. And again, press the earth away, rolling onto that left shoulder, onto the left hip, and take this side as deep as it works for you. One side is always different from the other. All right, roll it back to center. Bring your hands into that cobra position, fingertips in line right about with their underarms. Press the toenails into the mat and press up cobra pose. And exhale, release the pose, press up, downward facing dog. All right, and then come on down to your knees. And we're gonna swing around onto our bottoms. Bring our legs into a deer position or pinwheel. So bend your right knee, take your right foot to the top of your left thigh, bending through your left leg. So I think you can probably see me online. This is in yin, this is deer pose. So if you're like me, I noticed my left sit bone came up off of the earth when I did this. So I'm gonna consciously press all my weight over to the left side here. So it's making my right knee come up a little bit, but now both sit bones are attached. So if you still can't get it there, maybe a blanket or something so you're both sit bones are firmly down on the mat, and then see if you can open up just a little bit. All right, we'll do a quick twist here. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, right hand behind you, left hand comes to that knee. Keep both sit bones connected. All right, inhale, release it, come back. Bring your hands down to heart center. Take your left hand to your thigh and your right hand back behind you. We're gonna shift the weight back into our hands, lift our pelvis up off of the earth, and reach your arm behind you for graceful pose. Sandy did it this week in class, and I just absolutely love this. All right, bring it down, and we'll do 2 more with a breath. So inhale, press it up, sweep the arm back. And exhale, release it down. 1 more, inhale it up. And exhale, release it down. We'll switch out the legs now, so simply just bring the legs through center, and then we'll pinwheel them to the other side, bending your left knee in front, taking the foot to the top of the right thigh. And then once you get there, again, my sit bone is not connected here, so I'm gonna press all my weight back until I'm connected to the earth. All right, we'll take that twist, inhale your arms up, and then exhale, right hand to your knee, left hand to the earth behind you. And then inhale, bring it up. Hands come through the heart center. Take your right hand to your thigh, left hand behind you for stability. Press through your hand, reach your pelvis up, reach your right arm back. And then bring it on down. Again, inhale, sweep it up. And exhale, back down. One more time. Inhale, bring it up. And release. All right, let's swing ourselves around, come on back through a downward facing dog so we can make our way to the top of the mat. So a couple of breaths here just to resituate ourselves. And then once you're there, bend your knees and look forward, and then on your exhale, come to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Concentrate on taking your hips up towards the sky. Bend your knees as much as you need to get your hands connected to the ground for this first one. And then really think about taking your hips up and think about drawing your stomach down towards your thighs. Inhale, come up halfway, lift, hands to your shins, nice flat back. And then exhale, release it down, forward fold. This time, press through all four corners of your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And hands come down to your heart center. We'll flow through a couple sun A's here. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant those hands, find your plank pose. And then shift forward and lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down, tuck those toes, press your toenails in and press up. Cobra pose, heart forward, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, press up, downward facing dog. All right, bend your knees and look forward, and exhale, journey to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, bring it up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. And hands come down to your heart center. This time, get your Tadasana, get yourself all nice and set up, toes in line with your knees in line with the hip bones, and bring your hands behind you into a clasp. And inhale, straighten your knuckles towards the ground, rolling your shoulders onto your back. All right, we're gonna take a bound forward fold. If this is too much on your shoulders, release the clasp as soon as you need to. So take a breath in here, and then exhale, slowly start to shift forward, keeping nice even hips. Take it as far as is comfortable for you. Don't forget to put a slight bend in your knees. And if you still have the clasp, go ahead and release it. Bring your hands down to the earth. Inhale it up, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. And lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press up, Cobra, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna add a little twist and hip stack in this. So reach your right toes up off of the earth. Start to twist over to the left, stacking your right hip on top of your left, and then bend your knee, sending your heel towards your glute, your knee up towards the sky. Pull up through your left shoulder and press down through your left heel. Straighten through that leg and take the toes back down to the earth. We'll do it on the other side. Left toes come up, stack that hip over on top of the right, and then bend the knee, sending the knee up towards the sky. Press down to the left hand. All right, straighten it up and release the toes down. Bend your knees and look forward, and exhale, come to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach it all the way up, take your palms to touch, reach towards the wall behind you, and exhale, hands down to your heart center. All right, let's see here. How are we doing on time? All right, so yeah, grab a sip of water if you need it. We should be nice and warmed up here. So I didn't send a playlist for this week because I forgot. You good? Oh, that's, oh no, you're fine. All right, when you're ready, top of the mat. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot back. Wiggle the toes back for a really deep runner's lunge here. Pull up through the quad and then press down through the hip. And then take your left knee down to the earth and inhale, reach your arms up. Take a look, make sure your right knee is in line right over your ankle. Scissor the legs together for stability. And then bring your hands down behind your back and take that clasp. Inhale, straighten your elbows, bring your knuckles towards the earth. We can take a small back bend here, leaving your hips right where they are. Start to take those knuckles down closer to your leg, bringing your heart up towards the sky. Take this as deep as is comfortable for you. And then release it. Come on up, reach it for the sky. Frame your foot, raise your back knee, step your right foot back, plank pose. And we're gonna do knees, chest, chin here. So drop your knees down, chaturanga your arms, taking your chest and your chin to the earth, hips are up. And then slide forward, finding a cobra pose. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees and look forward, and exhale, come to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, step your right foot back this time, and then shimmy that foot back as far as you can for a really nice deep runner stretch here. Shoulders away from your ears, and then drop that right knee down and inhale, reach your arms up. Squeeze it all towards the midline, bring your hands behind your sacrum, take the opposite class of last time, opposite thumb is on top. Inhale, straighten through. Again, either stay here or keeping the hips right where they are, start to take a back bend, shining your heart up towards the sky, reaching your knuckles towards the earth. And release that, bring it back up, reach all the way up. Frame your foot, raise your knee, step back, plank pose. And again, take the knees down, chaturanga the arms, bringing the chest and the chin to the earth. And then slide forward, press up into a cobra pose. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, bend your knees and look forward, and exhale, journey to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale it up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, reach all the way up. And hands down to your heart center. All right. All right, we'll flow through some variations of sun B now. We did some A's, we did some C's, now we'll do some B's. I like to go out of order, the ACBs. All right, so starting off in chair pose, either feet hip distance apart or bring your feet a little closer together. Get everything nice and buttoned up, and then bend your knees, send your fingertips down to the earth, sweep the arms up. Find your chair pose, take your thighs back and apart, squeeze in the glutes. And release, forward fold. Inhale up, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, either plank or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. If you're in plank, go ahead and take your vinyasa, lowering through chaturanga, pressing up into cobra or maybe up dog. Then exhale, downward facing dog. All right, take your right toes up. Bring your knee forward and plant the foot in between the thumbs. Get your left foot situated for warrior one, bringing your heel to the earth, feet or toes at a 45-degree angle. Pull back through the right hip as you sweep your arms up. Bend through that right knee so it's in line right over your ankle. Good. Take a breath in here, bring your palms together to touch. On your next exhale, reach them towards the top of your mat. Inhale it up. And again, exhale, reach. Inhale it up, keep your knee right over your ankle as you take one more bow forward. And bring it up. Reach it for the sky, and then frame that foot and step back into your downward facing dog. And we'll switch it out onto the other side. So go ahead and lift your left toes up. Bring them forward, plant them between the thumbs. Get your right foot flat onto the earth, toes at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, bring it up. Pull back through that left hip, forward with the right as you bend deeply into your left knee. All right, take your palms to touch. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, reach it forward. Inhale it up. Exhale, forward. Inhale up. One more time. Reach it towards the top of your mat. Bring it on up. Release the hands and frame the foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees and look forward, and on your exhale, journey to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale it up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, sweep your fingertips up, find a chair pose. And rise all the way up. Hands down to your heart center. All right, for this next one, we're gonna do a bound chair. So same thing, but we're gonna clasp our hands. When we come to that forward fold, you have the option to bring your arms up into that bound forward fold again, or release the bind wherever your shoulders are. All right, so bring those feet a little bit closer together. Take a breath in, bring your shoulders down behind your back, fingertips down towards the earth, bend your knees, sweep the arms up, find your chair pose. Take a look down, can you see your toes? Pull your knees back if not, and then bring your hands behind your back. Clasp your hands and straighten your knuckles away for bound chair. Don't lose the legs here. And then on your exhale, forward fold, either keeping the bind or releasing it as needed. All right, go ahead and release the bind. Bring your hands down. Inhale it up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step back, take a plank pose. And lower down, Chaturanga, come all the way down to your stomachs. Bring your hands back towards your hips. Curl the toes back so your toenails are on the floor, chin is on the floor. Inhale, bring your chin and chest up, bring your fingertips up. Maybe bring your toes up and reach your fingertips towards your toes. If this is too much on your back, bring your toes down. And then release it down. Bring your hands behind your back. Take that clasp. Inhale, straighten the knuckles towards your toes, pulling up your chest, pulling up your chin, maybe pulling up your toes for bound locust. And release it down. All right, we're gonna do one more locust, your choice, either bound or not. If you're bound, switch the grip. Inhale, straighten the knuckles away. Bring the chest and the chin up. Keep reaching the knuckles towards the toes, toes towards the back of the mat. And then release it down. Oh, I know, right? Okay, bring the, you know what? I know, don't hold your breath. All right, press up, downward facing dog. I know, this back bends, I tend to hold my breath too. I don't know why. I do it in bow. Donna just said it's not comfortable to breathe. All right, bring your right toes up and send your foot forward, plant it in between your thumbs. We're gonna do that warrior one again. So get your left foot flat, toes at the angle, and when you're ready, bring it up. All right, I should have said have blocks available at the top of the mat if you need them for warrior three. You can always leave your back toes down if warrior three isn't in your practice today, all right? So let's leave our hands where they are. Take a breath in and exhale, reach towards the top of the mat. Inhale it back up. Exhale, reach it forward. Inhale it up. All right, here it is. Reach it forward, hold it here. Shift the weight to your right foot, come up on his left toes, maybe raise the left foot up for warrior three, or leave those toes down on the earth. Well, if you need to. I lost my balance taking my toes down. And then bring your hands down to the mat and release the right foot down. I'm sorry, left foot down next to the left. I'm sorry, the left foot down next to the right. The other one. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, just step back to a downward facing dog. All right, this time bring the left toes up. Bring them forward, plant in between those thumbs, get your right foot situated, and find your warrior one on the other side. Make sure that your left knee is in line right over your ankle and you're pulling back through that left hip. Okay, take a breath in here. Exhale, reach it forward, nice and slow, nice flat back. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, reach it forward. Inhale it up. One more time, reach it forward, pull everything in, shift the weight, start to lift through the right toes. Leave them on the ground if you need it, or bring your hands down to those blocks if you need it. And then slowly release the hands down to the earth and release the right foot down, forward fold. All right, bring opposite hands to opposite elbows. Let it all hang down into a rag doll. Really concentrate on bringing those hips up towards the sky and letting gravity naturally pull the crown of your head and your elbows towards the earth. All right, release the hands, bring it up halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's come all the way up. And hands down to your heart center. Grab a sip of water if you need it. Water asana. It feels really hot in here all of a sudden. I know. It's a weird day with the rain, the unexpected rain. All right. And remember, vinyasas are always optional. No more playing around in plank here. I'm not going to do other things from it. So if you want to just step right back to a downward facing dog, you're always welcome, and you're always welcome to take that vinyasa if that is in your practice today. Clearly, we're doing a lot of shoulder stuff, so it might get a bit much. All right. When you're ready, inhale, bring it up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, either plank or downward facing dog. If you're in your plank, go ahead and lower through your chaturanga. Press up into your back bend, cobra, or lifting all the way through into up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, take your right toes up, bend your right knee, and then stack that right hip all the way on top of your left. Bring that knee up towards the sky, heel towards your glute. And then straighten through the right leg and send it forward, finding your way to plant that foot in between your hands. And then spin your back foot flat. We're going to come up into a warrior two. So either power through your foot or crawl your hand up your leg, whatever works for you. And then take a moment to tidy up your warrior two, getting that knee right over your ankle, heel in line with your left arch, reaching for both sides of your mat here. Inhale up through the crown of your head, nice tall spine. Exhale, press to the outside edge of that back foot. Keep all this alignment as you flip your right palm and then reverse your warrior. Keep your bend right over your knee, your knee right over your ankle. And then bring it back through. Keeping this bend, let's reach towards the top of the mat. Bend your forearm, bend your elbow, place your forearm on your thigh, reach your left arm up, and then reach it over your ear. Pull back through the left shoulder. If you've started to dip forward, we want to have a nice straight line from the fingertips to the outside edge of the foot. All right, bring it back up. Straighten through your front leg, flip your palm, and reverse your triangle. And bring it back through. Let's see, reach towards the top of the mat. We will find a triangle here. Open up, taking the right fingertips down towards the earth, left fingertips up. Once your shoulders are stacked, maybe reach those fingertips all the way down to the earth or to a block or towards your leg. Keep pressing to the outside edge of that back foot. And then reach it all the way back up. Keep that right leg straight, turn your right toes to meet your left. So you're in a wide-legged fold here. Wide-legged stance. And again, engage through those thighs. Drop through the abs, and then bring your hands to your hips. Take your elbows back behind you. Take a breath in here, and then exhale. Slowly start to fold forward, nice flat back. Bring your hands down to the mat. Inhale, come up halfway, lift, nice flat back. And then exhale, fold it all the way down, taking the hips as far up towards the sky as you can. We're pressing through the outside edges of both feet. We're going to add a twist here. So take your left hand, keep it down to the mat. Bring your right hand to your hip. Turn your torso towards the right, and then reach your right arm up towards the sky. And then release a twist, bringing the right hand down. This time, the left hand comes to the hip. Turn the torso all the way towards that left side, and then reach the left arm up. And release that twist. All right, from here, we're going to transition right into a runner's lunge. So start to crawl your hands towards your right foot, turn your right toes towards the top of the mat, and come onto the ball of your left foot. And we are transitioning right back here. All right, press down through your right foot. Option to either step forward or raise your left toes into a standing split. And then release the toes down, forward fold. Inhale it up, halfway lift. Exhale, plant those hands, step back, either plank or downward facing dog. If you're in plank, go ahead and take your vinyasa and we'll all meet in downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna do it on the other side now. Left toes come up. First, bend that knee and then stack your left hip over on top of the right, driving that heel towards the glute. Pull up through the left shoulder. You press it down through the right hand. Right shoulder, left hand. And then straighten through that leg and pull it through however you need to get that foot in between your hands. Once you're there, spin your back foot flat and find your warrior two. Again, really engage through the legs and press out through the fingers. Flip your left palm and reverse your warrior, leaving that knee bent right over your ankle. And then bring it back through. We'll take that side angle pose, reach towards the top of your mat, bend your elbow, place it on your thigh, reach your right arm up, reach your right arm over and pull back through that right shoulder and reach through the fingertips. And then pull yourself back up. Let's straighten through that front leg, flip your palm and reverse your triangle, pressing it towards the back of your mat. Really reaching up through the fingertips here. And then bring your arms back through and we'll find a triangle pose. Reach towards the top of the mat, tick-tock your arms open, stack shoulder on top of shoulder, and then find your fingers towards your leg, your block, or the mat. And then slowly pull yourself back up. All right, leaving that leg straight, turn your left toes to face your right. Get yourself in a nice wide stance here. Keep reaching for both walls here. Take a breath in and then exhale, forward fold. Release the hands down. Come up halfway, lift. And then exhale, sink down into this. All right, we're gonna take a slightly different twist this time. Leave your right hand planted. Take your left hand, reach it towards your right ankle. Grab onto that ankle if you can, use it as leverage. And then release that twist. Take your left hand down, this time reach your right hand for your left ankle. And release. All right, let's crawl around to that runner's lunge. So go ahead and walk your hands to the front of the mat, pivot over into your runner's lunge, left toes pointing forward, coming out of the ball of your right foot. And again, either stepping forward into a forward fold or pressing down to that left foot, raising your right toes for a brief standing split. And then lower it down. Inhale halfway up and exhale, fold. And let's inhale, come all the way up and hands to your heart center. All right, in this next sequence, there's an optional wild thing. If wild thing is not in your practice, it is where we do that hip stack that we've been doing, and then you just keep driving that foot over and over and over until it actually lifts you up off the ground, taking it to the ground on the other side of you when you raise your arm up overhead. So I'll walk you through that as we do it. It is purely optional if you would like to move some things out of your way. Otherwise, keep that hip stack, okay? All right, when you're ready, inhale it up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, either plank or downward facing dog. If you are in plank, go ahead and take your vinyasa and we will all meet in downward facing dog. All right, raise your right toes, bend your right knee, and first start with that hip stack, really driving that knee up towards the sky and the heel towards your glute. If you want to take wild thing, keep on pressing that right foot over and over and over to the left until it finds the ground and you reach your right arm up and overhead. And then you can wave and stay high. All right, flip it back around, three-legged dog, and then bring your foot forward into a runner's lunge. Okay, we're gonna take that standing split again here. So press down through the right foot, lift your left toes up. Okay, so option here is to stay in the standing split and then just find your runner's lunge again, or slowly start to lift your fingertips up off of the earth, trying to find a warrior three prayer position. And then bend through that right knee and step back. We're gonna come into a high lunge if you were in warrior three. If you were in runner's lunge, press up into your high lunge. And we'll all meet there. All right, let's see here. Spin your back foot flat, find a brief warrior two, just to get our bearings here, and then straighten through that front leg and turn your right toes again in that wide-legged stance. Okay, but this time, angle your toes towards the top and bottom corners of the left side of your mat. And then bring your arms into a goal post. And then bend through your knees, tracking your knees right over your ankles. Take a look down. I need to bring my heels in a little bit closer so that my knee is in line right over the ankles. So you might even need to physically press your knees back a little bit. And then drive your tailbone down towards the earth. We don't want to tuck it in. We don't want to press it back. We want to take it straight down. And then straighten your legs, straighten your arms, find a 5-pointed star. Make this really active. Reach through the fingertips, reach through the crown of the head, press down through the feet. Take a breath in here, exhale, lower back down into that goddess pose. Inhale it up into star and lower down, goddess. One more time, bring it up. And then we're gonna bring our arms back out, turn your toes so you come back into your warrior 2 here. So right toes are pointing straight forward, left foot is at a 90-degree angle. And then frame your foot and step back, downward facing dog. Tidy up your dog here. Get ready for the other side. All right, left toes come up, bend your left knee and stack that hip. Again, get a really deep twist here, and if you want to keep driving that left foot over to the right, do so until your left hand comes up. Then you reach your arm up over your ears and say hi. Right foot is straight back. And then flip it back around. And then bring that knee forward. So some people are up on the ball of their foot. Like I saw yours is flat. It just depends on where your legs are, because there is a way you transition from wild thing into full wheel. All right, okay. Press through the left foot and raise your right toes up, finding a brief standing split. Again, your option here is to step right back into your runner's lunge or slowly start to float your hands up into a prayer position. And if you've taken the warrior 3 option, slight bend in that left knee and then step your right foot back and reach it up. Whew, all right, spin that back foot flat for a brief warrior 2, and then straighten through that leg and turn your toes so you're in that wide-legged stance. So again, now we're gonna angle our feet. So your toes are pointing out, heels are in a little bit, and then goalpost your arms, bending through the elbows. Bend through your knees, finding that goddess. Again, maybe pulling your heels in a little bit more, maybe physically pressing your knees back, whatever you need to do to get nice and in line. And then sink down just a little bit lower. And then on your next inhale, reach it all the way up, 5-pointed star. Lots of energy here, make this really active. Take another breath in here and then exhale, goddess pose. Inhale it up, star. One more time, sink down, goddess. And star. All right, what did we do here? Brief warrior 2, and then frame your foot and step back, downward facing dog. All right, come on down to your knees. Bring your toes to touch, knees spread wide, sink your hips back, find a brief child's pose. Or take a water break. Whatever you need to do here to give yourself a quick break. All right, then let's come back up through a tabletop position. So once again, fingers are wide, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. All right, we're gonna do a couple of wrist stretches here. So turn your fingertips to face your leg, coming back onto the palms of your hands, and then sink your hips back a little bit as far as what works for you to deepen this wrist stretch. All right, shift your weight back forward and bring your fingertips back into a regular tabletop. And this time we'll do that one where we, just the right hand, we come onto the top of the right hand and take the fingers to face our knee. And then again, sink the hips back to deepen this as far as you need to on this side to feel that really nice big stretch all the way up the front of your arm. You got it, Donna? Yeah, you must be right-handed. Yeah. Are you on the computer a lot? Yeah. The way I drive, I do something with this one. I know, I've been doing this one almost every day. It's amazing how much it's helped me doing this every day. All right, shift your weight forward, come back to the palm, and then do the other side, the left hand, and then shift it back. For me, I don't even feel it on my left side compared to my right. Yeah. And then bring it forward. Okay, so your favorite pose and mine, right? Dolphin. So we've been doing a lot of shoulder work. This is on that list of poses that I used to get really super grumbly about because it really, really hurt. And again, I can't emphasize enough, the reason it hurts is because that's where we're not strong. And the way you get strong is you keep on doing it. So come on down to your forearms. And just take a moment here, really take a look. Are your shoulders lined over your elbows and then tracking straight through to that middle finger, okay? So don't have your arms out, don't have them in. Nice straight lines here. And then really press through the palms and press through the elbows. And we want to remember to keep our shoulders away from our ears. So if we do anything else, pull your shoulder blades towards your bottom. Keep them there as you tuck your toes and send your hips up towards the sky. And then walk your toes in as comfortable, as close as is comfortable for you. Keep on pressing through the arms and keep on pulling those shoulders towards your bottom, which is towards the sky right now. And then walk it back into a forearm plank. Oh, that's mean. All right, and then press up to a plank. I mean, seriously. All right, hips up, downward facing dog. And then release the knees down and come onto your bottom. Donna just said like it wasn't your idea. All right, well, your favorite and mine next, ab bracing. So tricky abs. So come on down to your backs. I'm going to do it this way. And plant your feet in to the earth, knees pointing up towards the sky. All right, before we do anything else, you guys, I think all of you have done this before with me, you know the drill. Pull your belly button down into your spine. Take your hands and see if you can get your fingertips under there. You should be completely flat in your back and your lower part of your back, so there should be no curve. You shouldn't be able to get your fingertips under there. So keep all that engagement right there. That is an ab workout. Keep pulling your stomach in. All right, and then we're gonna lift our toes up off of the earth, have your calves parallel to the earth, flex through your feet. Take your hands to the top of your thighs, and then press your hands up and in into the thighs, and press the thighs into the hands. Keep on pulling that belly button down to the earth. And then release it down. I know I've said this before. I love these because they're tricky, because it's like, oh, I can do this. They don't seem hard at all. And then it's like using your whole entire body. All right, pull your abs down towards the earth, belly button towards the spine, raise the toes, flex the feet, take the hands to the thighs and press up and in. Keep on pulling the belly button down. And release it down. You know we have to do a third one. It's like the yogi rule. We have to do things in threes. It's not my fault. I don't make the rules. Pull your belly button into your spine, raise those toes, flex those feet, take your hands to your thighs and press them. All right, release it down. Give yourself a quick break. Windshield wiper those knees back and forth. And then pull your knees up into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Maybe rock from side to side a little bit. Hips should be nice and flexy by now. And then cross your feet at the ankle and rock and roll the length of your spine. And rock and roll all the way up to a seated position or a roll to one side and press yourself up. Okay. Here we go. Let's swing it around, come into a downward facing dog. All right, bring your right toes up, send your knee forward, plant your foot in between your thumbs, right foot forward. Okay, and then spin your back foot flat and come on up right into your warrior two. Nice strong warrior, drag that right heel towards your left glute, the left heel. All right, what are we doing here? Okay, we're gonna do a humble warrior two. So bring your hands behind your sacrum and clasp your hands. Inhale, straighten your knuckles away. Okay, when we do this, when we do the bow forward, we want to try really hard to keep our knee right where it is and keep this right glute pulling in, okay? So take a breath in here and then exhale. Slowly start to bow your head towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Maybe rest halfway here. Maybe take your shoulder down to your thigh. Maybe take your head down towards the earth. And then slowly start to bring it back up and release, coming back into your warrior two, and then straighten your leg, give yourself a quick little break. So we are going to transition to a half moon here. I should have said it ahead of time. So if you need a block for your half moon, please have it handy at the top of the mat. All right, so first we'll go into a triangle. So reach towards the top of the mat and then tick-tock your arms open back up into that triangle. From here, take your left hand to your hip, send your gaze down towards your right toes. We're going to slowly start to bend through the right knee as you travel your right hand forward in front of your foot, dragging your left foot forward and then up. Maybe stay here, flex that left foot. Maybe it's just a twisty half standing split. Or slowly start to stack that left hip on top of your right, shoulder on top of shoulder. Maybe you lift that left arm up towards the sky. All right, release the hand down, brief standing split, and then release your toes down, forward fold. All right, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hand, step back, downward facing dog. We'll do the other side. This time the left toes come up, and then send them forward, plant that foot in between your thumbs, and spin your back foot flat, finding your warrior two on this side. So again, we want to really tuck this left glute, tuck the glute towards the right foot. Keep the knee right over the ankle. Keep all that engagement as you take your hands behind, opposite clasp, funky grip, straighten through the elbows. Take a breath in, turn your torso towards that upper right-hand corner of your mat, and then exhale. Find your humble warrior two, either halfway, shoulder to thigh, or knuckles to the sky, head down. And then go ahead and start to pull it back up. Release the grip, reach it out, and then straighten that leg. Give yourself a quick break. Pull through that right hip, pull it back so you're nice and even to the right side of your mat. Reach your hand forward and open up into that triangle pose. All right, right hand comes to the hip. Take a look down at your left foot. Travel your left fingertips forward. Start to lift through your right foot. Again, either stay in a twisty standing split or keep on twisting that hip right on top of the left and maybe reaching the right arm up. This is all about pulling everything in at the same time as expanding everything out. And then slowly transition that hand down and take the foot down, forward fold. Again, take opposite hands to opposite elbows. Let it all hang down. And release. Inhale it up, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Let's inhale, come all the way up. And hands down to your heart center. All right, have your blocks handy at the top of the mat. We're gonna eventually transition into a pyramid pose if you need them for pyramid. So we're gonna travel through another sun B, clearly adding on since I said pyramid. So bring your feet together to touch or to almost touch. This time, let's start with our arms up towards the sky. And then bend your knees, send your hips back, find that chair pose. I totally forgot the second chair after our other sun B, didn't I? All right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant your hands, step back, take a plank or right into downward facing dog. If you're in plank, lower down, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, right toes come up. Send that knee forward, plant the foot in between the thumbs, however you need to get there, and get your left foot situated for warrior one. Again, taking that 45-degree angle. Both heels are down. Bring yourself up, reaching up towards the sky, bending through. All right, we're gonna take a humble warrior one here. So take that clasp behind. Inhale, straighten your knuckles back, shoulders down, And on your exhale, again, bowing forward, maybe taking your shoulder to your knee, maybe taking the crown of your head all the way down. Keep pulling back through the right hip and bending through the right knee. And then slowly make your way back up, releasing the grasp, reaching it all the way up, and then straighten through that front leg. Pull back to the right hip, take a breath in here, and then exhale, reach your hands forward. Bring those fingertips down to your block or down to the earth. Keep a nice flat back. Inhale the crown of your head all the way up towards the top of the mat and press back through the right hip forward with the left. And then on your exhale, sink your stomach down towards your thigh. All right, plant your left hand, bring your right hand to your hip, turn your torso towards the right side of your mat, and then reach your right arm up towards the sky. Twisted pyramid. And then bring that hand down, frame the foot again, and then transition back to downward facing dog. So shimmy your back foot back and reach your right foot back, downward facing dog. All right, left toes come up, foot comes forward, plant it down onto the earth, however you need to get there. Right foot is flat, 45-degree angle, finding your warrior one. This time left hip comes back, reaching the arms up. All right, again, our goal here is to keep this left hip pulling back while we're bending through that left knee, okay? Take your hand behind your sacrum and again, switch that grip. Straighten through the elbows, roll the shoulders back, and on your exhale, humbly bow forward. And then bring it all the way back up. And reach your arms up. The crown of your head is like a millimeter away from the ground, Alice. You're so close to touching. All right, straighten through the front leg. Again, pull back to that left hip forward with the right. Take a breath in here and then reach your arms forward. And then bring those fingertips down to your blocks or to the earth. Again, before you do anything else, pull back through that left hip forward with the right. Breathing all the way through the crown of your head, and then exhale, sinking it down. Plant your right hand, bring your left hand to your hip. Turn your torso to the left side of your mat, and then reach your left arm up. And go ahead, take it down. Bend through that front knee, shimmy your foot back, and step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees and look forward, and exhale, come to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale it up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, sweep your arms up, chair pose. And then reach your arms all the way up. Hands down to heart center. Okay, so last week we worked on revolved half moon, which is a really difficult pose. And it's on my list, honestly, of poses that I always just despise because it's so much, there's so much concentration, there's a lot of balance, there's this twisting, it's really hard to hold this pose. Again, that doesn't mean we should avoid it. Originally, Laura Leonaro was supposed to assist with me today. Something came up personal, so she couldn't make it in. But in prep for this, I asked, what pose do you really dislike, or did you used to dislike that now you are okay with? And she said, revolved half moon, which was on my list, which was on Ashley's, who assisted me yesterday. Like, it's a hard pose. But I loved what Laura said about it. She said, I used to really dislike it, and then I adjusted my attitude. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is, right? We don't want to be like, oh, not that. Okay, so last week I took you to it from that twisted triangle, the revolved pyramid that we just did. It's a nice transition from there. I'm going to take you a little bit more difficult this week, but I'm going to show you where we're going. So have a block handy, but let me just show you what we're going to do. We're going to come into it we're going to do chair pose, and we're going to do an open arm twist, okay? And then options here are to shift to your right foot, come onto your left toes, and then like we were doing with that warrior 3, we take our left foot back while we take our left hand down. So option though, if that is not something that seems with all that balance, if you just want to practice the twist, we can get the twist and then just take You can practice taking your foot back and then bringing your hand down, maybe reaching it up, maybe reaching your toes up. Okay, so a couple different ways to get into it depending on how much you want to mess with the balance. So again, this is a big twist, it's a big balance, it's a lot of expansion, it's a lot of pulling in. So, you know, just give it a try. That's all we ask. All right, so feet together to touch or to almost touch. Pull up through the abs, down through the shoulders, take the thighs back and apart, fingertips down, bend through the knees, and then sweep your arms up. Set a nice, strong, steady chair pose. All right, take a breath in here, and on your exhale, right hand behind you, left hand forward for this open arm twist. So lots of options here. We're gonna shift our weight to the right foot, come onto your left toes, either step your left toes back or step them up and reach them back as you take your left fingertips down to the earth or to a block. If you've stepped your foot back, reach the toes up. Keep twisting your torso towards the right side and flex to the left foot. And then release the hand, release the foot. I wasn't looking, Donna, how'd it go? All right, good. No, that's what the blocks are there for. All right, let's bring it all the way up and try the other side. So let's take a moment here. Again, it's all a mental game. Pull your abs up and in, take your fingertips down, bend to the knees, find your chair pose. Take a breath in here, exhale, right hand forward, left hand back. Shift your weight to your left foot, come onto those right toes. Either step your right foot back or lift the toes and reach them back, taking the right fingertips down to the earth. If you've stepped back, maybe start to lift the toes. And then release it all down. That was good, Donna. She said I knew where I was going that time. It is, it's just practice. And some days we got it, some days we don't, and that's okay. All right, let's come on to our bottom. So I'm gonna vinyasa there. You are welcome to just get there. So I'm gonna lift halfway, plant my hands, step back to a plank. If you're not with me, we will meet you on your bottom. If you're with me, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And then come on down to the knees. Swing it around. Grab a sip of water if you need it. So that was our peak pose, but actually the next thing we're going to do is my absolute, the pose I really dislike. And it's funny because I always say, like, I used to really dislike dolphin. I love it now because I practice it a lot. I used to dislike revolved, half moon. I really like it now. Pigeon is another one. It's really hard for a lot of people because it's uncomfortable, and then you start to get into your head while you're in it. Mine that I still don't like, and so therefore I never, ever, ever practice it, but now I'm gonna practice what I preach, and I've been putting it into my practice every single day, is reverse tabletop, which I don't know what it is. I can do a full wheel with no problem. There's something about reverse tabletop. I feel very exposed yet constricted at the same time. It's uncomfortable for me. There's this, it's a big mental game with me more than a physical. I don't know why. So I'm doing it every day now to get through it. That we'll work into that. Well, Alice has asked if we're doing with legs bent or straight. Straight is reverse plank. We're going to work into that. So let's start off with reverse table. So bend your knees and stamp your feet in. So just like in that table, how I really was making sure you get your shoulders over your wrists and your knees or your ankles, it's that same thing in a reverse. I'll do it this way. So bring your hands behind you, fingertips towards your glutes. And right here, you can shift your weight back and see if your shoulders are in line over those wrists, or if you need to go back a little bit further and a little bit more. Okay. And then just like everything else, it's all about pulling the abs up and in, squeezing the thighs back and apart, engaging through the glutes, okay? So press your feet into the mat, press your hands into the mat, start to bring your bottom up. And then bring it all the way up. Take a look, are your knees in line over your ankles? All right, and then we wanna gaze up towards the ceiling if that's comfortable for you. Don't let your head drop back behind you, all right? And keep pulling up through the hips and in with the abs. And then release it down. So again, revolved half moon, probably a lot more difficult. There's just something about this one. Okay, so now another option is reverse plank. A lot of people step into it from reverse tabletop. I actually think that's harder than just starting with your legs out. So if you want to try it, come into a staff position first with your legs straight, toes flexed. And then we're gonna do that same thing. We're gonna press back into our hands, start to raise our hips up, and then take your toes down as far as you can. Keep lifting up through the pelvis. And again, gazing up towards the sky. Thighs back and apart. And then release the hips down. And I happen to have Counting Crows on right now where he's saying, I am fine. I'm fine, I promise. So we're gonna do, I think it's harder to go into that reverse plank from table. So that's why I like to do it the third time through. So a lot of options there. You can just stay in reverse table. You can start off with your legs straight, or you can try to step into it, okay? So I'm gonna have my knees bent here, press into my feet, into my hands, and raise the pelvis up. Come first into this reverse tabletop, and then maybe step the right foot forward. Oh, and step the left foot forward. I dip when I do it. And then release it down. And shake out the wrists. It's a lot. That's why we're doing those wrist stretches, shoulders. I hope that you were able to find some peace. I will not force pigeon on all of us because we're running out of time, but that's what we were going to do next. But again, just to talk through it, I think the reason a lot of people have trouble with pigeon prep is it's all in the head. It's finding comfort in the discomfort. It's finding peace in the stillness. But it's your lucky day because we only have 5 minutes. So bring your legs out nice and long in front of you. Move the flesh away from your sit bones. Flex your feet. Sit up really nice and tall. And just take a moment here to recenter yourselves. To come back to your intention in class. And when you're ready, reach your arms up overhead. And on your next exhale, reach your hands forward towards the top of the mat. Release those hands wherever they are. And find your forward fold. And then release the fold, crawl it back up, and let's just come all the way down onto our backs. I'll turn this way. And pull your knees into your chest for a moment. Rock from side to side. And then keep that right knee hugging in, let your left leg go long on the mat. Wrap your left hand around your right knee. Let your right arm go long on the mat. Take a breath in here, and when you exhale, twist over to the left, letting your hand guide you, but only twisting as far as you can to leave that right shoulder pinned down onto the earth. Try to keep your foot flexed. It's kind of like active relaxation. You want to let go a little bit, but still keep your muscle engagement. All right, bring that knee back through center and pull your left knee up to meet it. And then let that right leg go long. This time, wrap your right hand around the knee and let your left arm go long. Take a breath in here, and then again, exhaling over to the right, only as far as you can go before that left shoulder pops up. Keep the left foot flexed, but sink into the twist. And then transition back up to neutral, bring both knees in, give yourself a nice big hug. When you take your next breath in, bring your nose up towards your knees, squeeze into a really, really tight ball here. And then exhale, let everything go. Let your arms come down, let both legs come down. Let go of the muscular energy, let your feet fall to both sides. Suppose somebody looks at you and says, hey, how come you seem to be super happy today? What does that person see? Does the person see your mind? How does he or she know that you're happy? It shows in your body. That means the happiness of the mind immediately is reflected in the body. That's the proof. The same way, if you're unhappy, you may be asked, what's wrong with you? You don't seem to be happy today. So that means that every mood immediately gets reflected in the body. Every thought has a say over every molecule of the body. Even though we see the change more visibly in the face, that doesn't mean the other parts of the body are not changed. From head to foot, you change. There's no doubt about it. That is the power of the mind. Start to bring awareness back through your body, back through your mind, into the room, onto the mat. Deepen your breath. Make movements with your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. And then when you're ready, reach both arms overhead. Give a nice big stretch. And on your next exhale, pull those knees back into your chest, giving one last big hug in. And gently roll to one side using your arms as a pillow. And slowly make your way up to a seated position, eyes closed, hands to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with all of us today, for always being open to trying things and joining us and doing what's right for you and your body and listening to your needs. Remember, yoga is not whether or not you can touch your toes. It's what you learn on the way down. The light and love in me honors the light and love in each and every one of you. Namaste. I'm going to step forward here to unmute everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining on this cloudy day.
Thanks, Susan.
Hope you all feel stretchy.
Mhm.
Oh, wait.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Rest of